Hey guys, welcome. We're going to give you the steps to go ahead and force an inward swinging door. One of the first things you want to go ahead is identify the inward swinging door. The way we do this, you're always going to see that it's flush against the frame. Obviously we don't see any hinges. Now this is a training door, we see some hinges exposed. However, in this case, when you have something flush up against the door and no hinges exposed, this is our telltale sign that this is an inward door. So we're going to go ahead and prepare to force this inward door. When we do that, we have 5 steps. One of the first steps that we do, it's a size up step. It's shocking the door. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take the halligan, we're going to take it high, middle, and low. The purpose of doing this is to go ahead and identify where the locks are. All right, the other thing is pour doors that are maybe wood cased, hollow core wooden frame doors. We can end up forcing the door simply by shocking it. So you got to be able to identify what type of frame we have. In this case, this is a steel frame. But in cases where we have a wood weak frame, coming up and shocking, and here's the steps to shock. Now right off the bat, I did create a little space from there, and that's what we want. We want to take advantage of the space. So that was step 1, to shock. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to gap. Okay? Coming in, you can use your pick, but we can come in with our axe side as well. All right? Come in, pull up, try to get 6 inches away from the locking mechanism so we don't drive the pick into the door. You can hear a little separation. So we got a nice little space. Now we're going to get ready to set. Setting is the most important part. Setting, we have 2 things we want to do. We want to stay away from the jamb or the frame. We want to stay away from the door. I liken this to football. You have defenders. Here's your big defensive tackle. This is your linebacker. We're going to try to go ahead and get our forks and get into space and get in the void. If we can own the space, we can get our forks around the jamb, then we own this inward door for forcing. All right? As I'm getting ready to set, we're going to have Jeff come over here. This is paramedic firefighter Bast. The way we want to go ahead and get you guys to set the tool in, we're going to use simple commands. Hit and stop. There's one additional command that we'll tell you, and that's to force. Forcing lets Jeff know that I'm where I need to be with the tool. He's going to continuously hit until I'm through. But we use simple commands, hit and stop. So I'm going to go ahead and using a forks out to get around the jamb. I'm going to go ahead and set my tool. All right, Jeff's going to come in. Now your job is setting the tool is to always keep your eye on the prize. There's no reason to go ahead and look back at the person striking the tool. When he strikes the tool, he's going to be down on one knee. He's going to use the flat end of it. Use nice short controlled strikes. We don't advocate doing a big baseball swing because then you're going to lose effectiveness and you could possibly miss and hit the person setting the tool. Once again, simple commands. Hit, hit, hit. Okay, we're going to stop there. Now I was starting to force the tool. If you're doing an inward door, he's going to have to reposition because I have to get in between the frame. So I got to get it between the frame and between the door. If I kept doing it, I'd bury it in the frame. So he's going to reposition. That's why he hits only when I tell him to. Hit, hit, hit. Right. Hit, hit, hit. Force. Stop. In that case, enough of the striking was able to force it. Obviously, if we have the door back here, you want to go ahead and get the leverage on this side of it so when you do get to force, you don't fall backwards. We like to advocate getting on this side. It's a safer practice. On this side, you can even keep your hands open so you don't press against the door. The door forces. Last step, and you got to have the anticipatory foresight to realize this. Our job is not strictly to force the door, it's to force and control. So you can come up, be cognitive of the flow path you just created, keep the door controlled. And that's the steps to go ahead and do in an inward force. All right, we're going to show you a second alternate method for going ahead and forcing an inward door. Sometimes you have a wall here to make things a little difficult. We don't have the necessarily room or space to go ahead and leverage it with a forks out approach. Or if it's really tight against the jamb and there's not a lot of space, sometimes with a forks in approach where we're actually getting the forks in to go around a door, similar to doing an outward door, we can actually go ahead and create a nice little gapping phenomenon. So what we're going to end up doing is showing you a method where we come in here at this angle, we're going to take it out as the gap, as in axe gaps it and holds the space. and then we're going to reposition and go to where we need to go. Okay? So Jeff's going to come on in. He's going to shock at 3 spots, high, middle, and low. Right there, you can already start to see that it's starting to separate. We're loosening up the locking mechanisms, and we're also bringing it away from the jam. Now he's going ahead and gapping. You're starting to hear some of the separation, which is good. So now he's going to take a forks in approach. He's going to stand right here. Bear's going to come in as he gets set. He's going to give him the commands to hit. Hit! 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 Stop. Now he tells him to gap. Gap. What he's doing right now is he's maintaining the space that was just created, which allows Jeff to pull out his Halligan, reposition to the traditional more forks out approach. Once he gets there, maintains the space again, and then Bear's going to go ahead and get the commands to go ahead and continue to hit. Hit! Hit! Force! Stop! And control. That's your second alternate method for going a forks in approach, then repositioning once you gap it. All right, this is the third alternate way for going ahead and forcing an inward swinging door. This is a technique where you actually use 2 Halligans. So if you have the anticipatory foresight to go grab the second Halligan off the engine, what you're going to be able to do, this premise really teaches us that at the lowest parts of doors is where there's usually the least amount of locks. Most locking mechanisms are in the middle, sometimes up top. You know, you have certain fox locks that go in different directions, but this is a way that we can use that to our advantage. Also, by using 2 Halligans, we split up the workload, where when we use an axe, one is just simply a striking tool, the other one does the force and leverage. Using 2 Halligans and using the gapping and standard forcing techniques, you're going to see how we have the workload distributed evenly, so we're using 2 pry tools. So one of the first things, because this is an inward swinging door that we're going to do, I'm still going to shock it, I'm still going to go through that step. I like this step, it's a size up step. It lets me identify that it is a truly inward swinging door, what kind of frame I'm working on, what kind of door. All right, gets me thinking about it. So I'm going to come up, loosen some things up. Now as the initial gapping firefighter, what I'm going to come down and do right now is going to go about 12 inches, so a foot from the bottom. Like I said, I'm trying to take advantage of the fact that there's least amount of locks down here. Using the adz end, about 12 inches, now I'm going to have the second initial firefighter coming up. Leanne, go ahead and gap, hit, 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 stop. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and gap. Back away just a little bit. Now when I gap, I'm creating a lot of space on the bottom. Now Leanne's going to come in with a forks out approach. You're going to see this. Forks out, try to get around underneath the door, forks out around the jam. Okay, as high up as you can get. There you go. Now with that being the case, I'm coming underneath her again. I'm going to gap. She's going to slide as high up as she can get. Stay right there. I gap and slide. Again. All right, and you see how that gap and slide technique. As I'm creating space, she's coming in. Once I'm at this level, you can come around with me. You can use 2 firefighters too as a technique. We're going to force it on 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we control. It's a 2 Halligan takedown. Very effective method. All right, guys, now we're going to go ahead and give you the steps to go ahead and do an outward swinging door. We're going to identify it outward because we're going to go ahead and see that we have hinges. Okay, not all of them do we have hinges. It is flush. We don't see any bit of the frame. It's flush to the frame, and we have hinges. This gives us the good indication that this is an outward swinging door. All right? Now, when we have an outward swinging door, the step of shocking is not recommended. Obviously, because there's a frame. A lot of times it could be a stop frame or a rabbited frame. We're just going to pound it up against the frame. It really is a counterproductive step. So that step for shocking is strictly for inward forcing doors only. But I still can come up and I can gap the door using the edge, trying to get 6 inches away from the lap, create some space, see if I can get some separation. Okay. Definitely get some separation in there. The lock's already starting to give way. The gapping step, you want to kind of go up and down, up and down. If you need to go ahead and use your own tool to go ahead and force up while you're waiting for teams to operate, feel free to do so. So we're going to come in. The first technique that we're going to show you is just your traditional forks in technique. I'm going to set it, get as close to the lock as I can. Look to get in. Same commands. Jeff's going to strike. Okay. Hit. 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 Stop. All right. Now I'm against the frame, so I'm going to go ahead and reposition. Get behind the door. Hit. Hit. Force. Stop. You basically are set once you get the crotch of the fork even with that door jam, and we're going to go ahead and force. All right. One of the things you can go ahead and reposition like I told you, so that way we're not tripping over everything. So we're going to force, and we're going to have the foresight to control the door. And we control the door. All right, guys, we're going to give you the second alternate method for going ahead and forcing an outward swinging door. The reason why we do that, we're going to teach you an adds-in approach. If you have a wall and this door is recessed, what's going to end up happening if you try to get the forks in there, when you try to go ahead, you're going to be pressed up against that wall. You're not going to have the leverage. You're not going to be able to force that door. So more tools for the toolbox. You got to go ahead and use the right technique for the right situation. So Rhonda's going to come up here. We've already taken the liberties of gapping that door. So she's going to set the tool. She's going to get as close as she can with the axe, and she's going to use the adds-in. Now on the command of hit, Bear's going to hit. Now she's repositioning to get into that void. Now she's going to go ahead and force the door. The door is forced, we control the door, and the door is ours.